The gavel crashed like a thunderclap in the dimly lit meeting room of the Willow Creek Community Center, sending a shiver through the crowd of neighbors packed into folding chairs. The air was thick with tension, the kind that makes your skin prickle, as Evelyn Harper, the iron-fisted president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, stood at the podium, her eyes blazing with righteous fury. She was targeting my family, specifically my 9-year-old daughter, Lily, who'd drawn a cheerful sunflower with sidewalk chalk on our driveway. To Evelyn, that innocent artwork was a crime against the neighborhood's standards. What she didn't know was that I, James Callahan, was a seasoned FBI agent who'd been quietly building a case against her for months, documenting her relentless campaign of harassment. This wasn't just about chalk. It was personal, and Evelyn was about to learn she'd picked the wrong family to bully. The room buzzed with nervous whispers as Evelyn, a 64-year-old widow with a penchant for power, waved a stack of photos showing Lily's sunflower, her voice dripping with contempt. "This eyesore," she spat, "is the latest in a string of violations by the Callahan family. They're dragging our property values into the gutter." My daughter, clutching her stuffed teddy bear, looked up at me with wide, confused eyes. She didn't understand why this woman hated her drawing, why we were being paraded in front of the neighborhood like criminals. My wife, Sarah, squeezed my hand, her face pale but resolute. I forced myself to stay calm, my FBI training keeping my anger in check for now. Evelyn had been terrorizing Willow Creek for years, ever since her late husband's real estate fortune made her the wealthiest resident in our modest suburban enclave outside Raleigh, North Carolina. For 6 months, she'd made our lives hell, starting the day we moved in. Our welcome mat, with its playful "home sweet home" in cursive, was too garish. The wind chimes Sarah hung on our porch were a noise nuisance. Even Lily's laughter during a backyard birthday party was deemed disruptive. Each complaint was delivered with a smile that never reached her icy gray eyes, a smile that said, "You don't belong here." Tonight, Evelyn was in her element, her navy blazer crisp as she listed our supposed crimes. "The Callahans have violated 17 HOA rules in 6 months, she declared, slamming her hand on the podium. "Their mailbox is half an inch too tall. Their garbage cans were left out for 14 minutes past curfew. And that chalk monstrosity? Visible for 4 days." The room was silent, neighbors too scared to speak. The Millers, who'd shared our barbecue last summer, stared at their shoes. Mrs. Thompson, who'd once slipped Lily homemade cookies, fidgeted nervously. Evelyn ruled through fear, and no one dared cross her. But I'd had enough. "Mrs. Harper," I said, my voice steady, "Lily's chalk drawing was a gift for me, welcoming me home after a long work trip. She's 9. It washed away in the rain." Evelyn sneered. "Work trip? Conveniently vague, Mr. Callahan. We all wonder what kind of business keeps you away for months." The implication was clear. She thought I was a deadbeat, maybe a criminal. If only she knew I'd spent those months undercover, dismantling a human trafficking ring, missing Lily's school play and Sarah's birthday to keep communities like this safe. Evelyn's tirade escalated. "This family is a blight on Willow Creek. I moved for a $20,000 fine and eviction within 30 days. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lily's small hand tugged my sleeve, her voice trembling. "Daddy, did I do something bad? I just wanted to make you smile with the sunflower." My heart broke. This child, who'd spent months waiting for me, who'd chosen yellow chalk because it was my favorite color, thought she was the problem. Evelyn smirked at Lily's distress, and that was when she crossed a line she couldn't uncross. "Perhaps your daughter needs to learn respect," Evelyn said, her tone venomous. Then, in a move that stunned the room, she reached into her purse and pulled out a sleek black pistol, pointing it in our direction. "Maybe this will teach you how serious I am about our standards." Chaos erupted, chairs toppled, neighbors screamed, and some dove for cover. But I didn't move. My training kicked in, assessing angles, distances, and risks. Lily was behind me, sobbing, her small body pressed against my leg. "Put the gun down, Evelyn," I said, my voice low and commanding. "You're making a mistake." She laughed, a brittle, unhinged sound. "I'm the law here, Callahan. You don't belong in my neighborhood." That was her fatal error. I reached into my jacket, pulling out my FBI badge and holding it high. "FBI Special Agent James Callahan. You're pointing a firearm at a federal officer and his child." Lower your weapon now. The room froze. Evelyn's smugness vanished, replaced by dawning horror. The gun trembled in her hands as neighbors pulled out phones, recording her downfall. You're lying, she stammered, but I stepped forward, my voice icy. I've been documenting everything, Evelyn. Every nasty voicemail you left for Sarah. Every time you stalked Lily with your clipboard. Every racist remark about outsiders lowering property values. You didn't know I'm Irish American, did you? You assumed we were trouble because we didn't fit your mold. I held up my phone, showing files of evidence videos, emails, photos of her slashing our tires. This isn't just harassment. It's a hate crime. And pointing a gun at my daughter? That's attempted assault on a federal officer. That's terrorism. Evelyn's gun clattered to the floor, and she collapsed into a chair, her empire crumbling. Within minutes, the room filled with flashing lights, local police, FBI colleagues, federal marshals. Evelyn was cuffed, her rights red as she stared blankly, the weight of her actions sinking in. Lily, still clutching her teddy, whispered, "Are you a hero, Daddy?" I knelt, wiping her tears. "I just protect people, sweetheart. Like you." The investigation that followed was relentless. Evelyn had kept a meticulous log of her harassment, believing it would justify her crusade. Instead, it was a goldmine of evidence, racial slurs and emails, plans to run out families who didn't fit her vision, even footage of her damaging our mailbox. She'd enlisted other HOA board members, 3 of whom were later arrested. The case exploded online, with justice for Lily trending as videos of Evelyn's gun-waving tirade went viral. News outlets dissected the story, sparking debates about HOA overreach and systemic bias in suburban America. Evelyn faced a litany of charges: intimidation of a federal officer, hate crimes, attempted assault, and domestic terrorism. At her sentencing, the courtroom was packed: neighbors, activists, even families from other towns who'd suffered similar abuse. Lily, now 10 and thriving with therapy and community support, asked to speak. Against my instincts, I agreed, trusting her strength. In her bright green dress, she stood tall, her voice clear. "Your Honor, I forgive Mrs. Harper for scaring me. My dad says hate makes your heart heavy, and I want mine light for my family and friends. But I want other kids to know it's not okay for grown-ups to hurt you just because you're different. Differences make the world colorful, like my chalk drawings." The courtroom wept. Even Evelyn, defiant to the end, broke down. The judge sentenced her to 2 years in federal prison, 5 years probation, and restitution for our legal fees and emotional harm. Her son, a local accountant, lost clients. Her daughter, a nurse, faced public scrutiny. The Harper family, once Willow Creek's elite, became outcasts. The HOA was disbanded, replaced by a diverse council under federal oversight. Lily never stopped drawing. Our new driveway, in a friendlier Raleigh suburb, became a canvas for her chalk art: flowers, stars, messages like, "You are welcome here." Neighbors joined her, turning it into a community ritual. Years later, in high school, Lily wrote an essay about that night. Justice isn't just in movies.